Very well, welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod. This one is entitled Captain's Log because we get a just incredibly privileged view right into the Red Roses camp through the eyes of lady on the cusp of winning her 137th cap and will lead England against France in a critical pool game against France. It's one of our co-hosts. It's Hunter MBE. How are you, Sunter?
I'm very well, thank you. I was going to say good morning, but it's actually good evening with you, isn't it? So, but yeah.
I've already had one mug of Horlicks, and I'm just about to have another one. It's well past my bedtime here, but what an absolute treat to speak to you. We've just been on a press conference. It's only sort of right. We're recording this Wednesday night here in the UK, announcing your team, what have you. We get a little sort of privileged sort of insight and having a chat with you, what have you. But I want to talk a bit of rugby. I want to talk a bit about the camp and what have you. The first thing I want to speak about, I'm not sure I know many other people on the planet who smile as much as you do. And it's a lovely smile too. But the beam, as you came out of that tunnel at Eden Park, was something else, even for you, Sarah Hunter. Just take us through those emotions.
I think for me, you've just got to enjoy it. And I know, like, people often get told put their game face on or whatever, but like, how could you not enjoy? Like, we're playing Fiji in the opening game of the World Cup. Like, having never played Fiji, it was my fourth World Cup. Like, it's been a tough few years for me personally. We're in an amazing stadium. The atmosphere was great. I'm like, how can you not enjoy this moment? For me, you've got to cherish them. They're not going to last forever. And I was just like, wow, like, here we are. This is it. This is our World Cup that we're about to like get underway. And yeah, it was just one of those memories you'll look back on. And yeah, I just couldn't help but smile.
No, 100%. How much are you smiling on the 30-minute mark?
I think the smile left within about 2 minutes. Honestly, I'm not even joking. It's probably one of the toughest 40 minutes I've played in a very long time. Like, from kickoff when they broke the line, I was like, "Ah, here we go. We're in a game." And it just didn't relent. Like, Fiji were like brilliant. Like, they just kept coming, they kept playing this high tempo game that like we like to pride ourselves on. Like they were just relentless, like quick taps, quick throw-ins. It was just like just never eased up till the halftime whistle came, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so unfit. But actually the ball and play time was so much higher than like some of the games we've been used to recently.
Even the New Zealand games last autumn, that sort of game time play was up from those kind of games as well, was it?
Yeah, I think so. And also like just the manner in which like the way they were. So like I said, Fiji, like there wouldn't be a kick for the line to walk to get a bit of a breath back. Like it was like, right, we're throwing it back in, or we're quick tapping and we're going. So there was no like respite. It was just constant. And yeah, I think half time came at a very good time for us. That's for sure.
A couple of things I want to pick up on that. You'll know, I don't need to say to you, but the bigger scheme of things. And you will have done a bit of analysis, no doubt, on France's opening game. I was lucky enough to call that one. South Africa coming to the table, Fiji coming to the table, 2025. In the bigger scheme of things, it's brilliant, isn't it? Let's not get your thoughts on that, because I know you fully agree. That may happen in other games, and you as captain, against Fiji, you're probably going to think, well, look, we've got an unbelievable bench, and against most sides, and our fitness is, we pride ourselves on it, and probably the best, fittest side at the World Cup. But you're thinking as captain, I've got to just rein it in here a little bit, and how did you do that? And we think, well, I will may not be quite so prevalent now, but in other games it may really be a real focus that I've got to do, and then translate that to the team. What were you saying?
I think it's just like we've got a great leadership team. Yes, like I'm the captain of the side, but we have a great game day leadership team that you can call upon, like depending on what areas you think are the ones that are where the pressure's on us. So we have ways that we check in and like, well, where's the pressure? Right. Well, actually, so what are the key actions from it? So again, like, I don't know, like journalists, commentators, like people probably like get tired of hearing it, but we have a process and it makes things a lot easier to find out how we need to get back on track. And I think as a captain, I know like Zoe Harrison, like in that game, was looking after attack. Skaz is the leader of defence. Abby, Ward set piece. So like there's key people to go right. Well, defence, we're like, what is it? Why are we having pressure on that? Right. Well, you tie in with Skaz. What are the key messages we're going to give at that point? Like, so we always try and keep it actionable. So like, what can players go? This is exactly what I need to do now. So like, we try and cut out the white noise, cut out the waffle, which for me is sometimes pretty difficult because I love to chat, and just keep it really, really succinct. So that's like in game and at half time, there's a moment to reflect and go, right, well, this is our game plan. What's working, what's not, right? What do we need to fix? So it just make it easier as a captain to be able to work through like pressure, craziness that's going on in a game.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, there's just some fantastic leaders around the place. But you were drawn in to by Fiji and the way that they were playing in a way that I've not seen England in a while. There was disconnect in defence, even like numbering and stuff. Was very unlike England. How much of the worry is that?
I don't think it's so much of a worry. You've got to put a lot of. It was first game of World Cup. Like for some people, it was their first World Cup. Like it was a big occasion. Like people were nervous, maybe a bit unsettled. Maybe Fiji rattled us, but I think the good thing is that that's done now. People have experienced it. People like we've had opposition almost like do that to us. So like we've spent a lot of time working through some of those things and what we need to do and how we need to overcome them. So I think that's a great thing. You have that learning within you that hopefully like going into this game and games further on, like we've hopefully solved some of that. We now just need to be able to make sure we can do that during a game rather than like having to wait till afterwards. But yeah, I don't think it's too much of a concern.
So I mean, we're kind of reliving Monday morning's review here, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm getting all Paxman, and we're going to have a nice fluffy conversation about how you're doing, whatever. But yeah, we're doing this podcast. It's slightly selfish. Such a super fan as I am. The only question is, and this is probably the toughest question that I ask people. Training at HQ. Was not one of the finest training sessions, and distractions and and you get an opening World Cup game and distraction, and you say that you've done it, whatever, but it's the first World Cup game, but that may be the first World Cup final as well for players. Should you get there? So I know you're everything covered, but how are you covering? Is that come up in a conversation? And I promise I'm going to go lighter after this.
To be honest, like. We're not even thinking about that. We're not even talking about it because like it's not relevant at this point in time. And I think actually some of the games we've played in over the last few years, some of the big games, we've played against France and Six Nations deciders and things like that, like will have prepared players for big moments, and hopefully like say people would have settled in, and I think like we hadn't played Fiji, so I think there's a lot to be taken in about. But we haven't, like, all the focuses has been France. We haven't even gone further than beyond that. I'm like, oh well, what would this mean if that happens? Like, we're very, like, a team that, like, stays on task and doesn't want to think further than think what's ahead. And for us, that's France, and hopefully we'll take some of the learnings from Fiji around that sort of thing into the game to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Emily is purring at that answer. Emily lies. Speaking of France, then, the lovely Sarah Orchard in the press conference we were just on asked a brilliant question. Ask Simon Milton who we'd have in the French squad. Straight to Roman Manager, number 8,
I know.
with you sat next to you. I can't believe it. I hope he gave him a little dig under the table.
He did say, though, she'd make a good squad player, didn't she?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that.
No, I mean, she's a fantastic player. She had a fantastic game against South Africa, didn't she? Like, and she had a frustrating World Cup last time around. So yeah, hopefully, like, you want the best players to be playing, don't you? So hopefully she'll has a clean bill of health through this World Cup.
When they were good, they were really, really good. And Santos was pulling them through large parts of the game. What is the key message? How important is that opening 10 minutes? You won 10 in a row. Can you kill them off in that first quarter?
I think obviously any start to a game is pretty important, isn't it? But I think what we've come to realise over the games against France is that it's not going to be won and lost in that first 20 minutes. You know, they're generally 80-minute affairs, aren't they? So we've got to be prepared to be in a battle, to be in a close game, and to go right to the end and stick in it. So I think they won't allow anything to be won or lost in the first 20 minutes for either team. And I think both teams have now that probably in their psyche, is that actually these are close run affairs that are normally won or lost towards the end of the game.
Yeah, well, I'm able to put the mockers on it. I mean, I know it's been tight, but I think psychologically it's too big a hurdle. So England win for me with another bonus point, 84-19. Yeah, say gone slightly Paxman like. It's a fabulous record-breaking victory to start. Enough of the ruggers. You've been playing a bit of cricket.
Yeah.
And I understand it's squad against management. How annoyed has Simon Middleton been about the coaches losing to the players?
Because he's a big cricket fan, like, not a fan and player. Like, he loves a bit of cricket. So I think the fact that the staff lost, he's like gutted about. Because he always, like, whenever we play, he's always there involved, and he'd always have a bat and he'd always have a bowl. And yeah, I don't think he liked the fact that he said we had some impartial umpiring, but I think Rosie Gallagher was a very, like, fair umpire, in my opinion. And it was just poor fielding by them in the end. So I think
name names. Who was it? Who dropped catches? Who missed fielding?
Do you know what?
It was Deacon, wasn't
it? Yeah, no, actually, he did better than we thought. We were like, oh, he's out in the field. He won't be very good. Someone hit a shot straight to him and he caught them clean out. So, but no, I think. I reckon there'll be some sneaky staff practicing. Mids will probably have them, like, preparing, ready for the next encounter. But I think on our way back down to Auckland, where the plan is another beach stop, so I think there'll be a rematch there, and I think the tension and seriousness might go up a notch.
I love this. Red hot favourites for World Cup win, and there's extra practice going on your beach cricket skills. It's fantastic, but yeah, that's the balance you need, right? And yeah, it's fantastic to do. What else have you been up to then? Waterfalls, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we had root recovery yesterday. So instead of an ice bath, we went into the waterfall, which was freezing, but very refreshing. So it's nice to do something a bit different, see the local scenery. I think with Kate Tyler, our physio, she was meant to run the London Marathon the other week, but obviously she was here, so she's actually doing it today. And we've got like a little cheer squad out for her, like planning that the staff are running some legs with her, like 10K legs with her, and on a bike, and then we'll be out as she runs past the hotel on each lap to cheer. I think there's some posters being made. So yeah, we're all trying just to do some stuff together. So like there's been jigsaw puzzles, there's been race nights, but then equally important, like people have a bit of time away on their own. So like this afternoon will be a bit of off time that people can do what they want. So yeah, it's like you say, it's really important to get that balance of team stuff and also allowing people to have a bit of their own time as well. And then friends and family are around, so people are off seeing them as well and stuff. So
Mum and Dad will be delighted when you retire. They have to follow you around the world 130 plus times.
they're loving it, honestly.
Have the parents got a little WhatsApp group going and what have you? Are they sort of meeting up and what have you? Because I suspect there's some really, really firm friends there over the years.
Yeah, there is. There's a friends and family WhatsApp group that I was on for a split second to try and organise something for the girls after in COVID year when I wasn't playing. And oh my God, I woke up several times to hundreds of messages with them all like chatting away, and and left it pretty soon after that. I was like, I don't need to be in this. But yeah, before the France game, they all met up before the France game and went for lunch. And apparently my mum was saying just yesterday that people are like, oh, I'm out here and I'm coming out like in a couple of weeks or on this day and I'm going off to do this, or just someone fancy meeting up. So yeah, I think they've got a great little group of them. I say little, it's a big group to be fair, that are all following us and have been. And yeah, there's so many people out here coming out, and it was actually nice when on Saturday when we played, and you kind of look around to try and spot them, and then you see like a St George's flag, because my mum will always have a St George's flag, and one of her big dilemmas was, does she wash it or does she not wash it? Because she didn't want to ruin it, and she's had it since 2014. So she was like, I was like, oh wow. Right. So I know if a St George's flag, like try and spot that, and I'll spot my mum, but and my dad, and they were all sat together. So obviously in the stadium where there's not many English fans and there's a lot of Fijian fans and a lot of New Zealand fans, it was all nice to see them all in one area and sharing that sort of game together as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, a proud bunch. Hard to find on the planet right now. You are known as one of the jumpiest characters in the squad. What little games are we playing? Have you been? There's a robotic spider. Is that right? Doing the rounds. Have you been got by that yet?
No, but I did spot it on the stairs yesterday, and I had to double check it because I saw it from the top, and I was like, oh. Got a bit close. That looks a little bit suspicious, but yeah. So I haven't been got by that yet. Although we were walking along the road yesterday on the way back. We went out for dinner, and my car went past and screeched at us. I grabbed onto Laura Keats, and Skaz almost pushed Amy Cocaine out the way because it frightened both of us.
The fearless warriors that women's rugby's ever seen, and they're a car screeches past, and in 2014 there was stealing teddies. Do I remember that correctly? What's the ongoing game at the moment? Is there one out there in Whangarei?
No, there's no sneaky weasels this time round. So no, nothing that's quite started yet. It's just normal board game, normal nice games. There's not been anything that people have to be on edge or be wary or suspicious of, obviously, other than this spider that's lurking around. But I'm sure there's plenty of time for that to change.
I was going to say that there's plenty of time for that to ramp up, and I won't suggest it to anyone in the slightest. 137 caps. Not even going to talk about it because we'll go on to win another one. And yeah, possibly Mids just slipped ever so slightly that you might not win that till the quarterfinals rather than the next game. But anyway, yeah, there's no need to discuss it. I just, yeah, huge congratulations. We selected at number 8 against France. You've had a really busy morning with loads of media people. It's been a real yin-yang of a chat, but absolutely lovely to speak to you, Sunter. And thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's always great to come on and have a chat, as always, Johnny, isn't it? So, yeah, sorry it's taken a little while, but it's been a bit busy over here.
Yeah, well, you're a lady in demand, and rightly so. All the very, very best against France, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thank you.